right, jabronis, we're back. And frankly, I'm pleasantly surprised we're back because this week has been just absolutely painful to get through. Not because my life has sucked or because work has been stressful or anything like that, but because this society just continues to devolve into stupidity and uselessness. And it was so frustrating to see it this week. I don't understand what's going on, who's running the show here, and why people are just letting it all happen. Unbelievably embarrassing. I can't seem to get over it for whatever reason. Maybe because I don't want us to go down this route. It's just ridiculous. Everything is just getting ridiculous these days. The only good thing is this show and the cage fact. So let's just jump right into it because I'm already heated. I got a splitting headache for God knows what reason. Probably because it's 9:30 p.m. when I'm recording this and I haven't eaten dinner yet like an idiot, because that's what I am. I'm an idiot, just like the rest of the people in this society, apparently. But we do have the cage fact. Let's jump into it right away. Step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage fact is proudly sponsored by Reginald's Recliners. Are you a lazy blob of shit who wants to sit comfortably in front of the TV and never have to move your fat ass off the couch ever again? Well, now you can with a Reginald's Recliner. With a built-in mini fridge, potato chip dispenser, and fleshlight, you literally have everything you need to never have to move a muscle off the couch again. There's even a built-in toilet under the cushion. So to buy the last chair you'll ever need or ever will sit on, visit www.couchescouchescouches.com and use the promo code SummerOfGeorge for 2% off your first Reginald's Recliner. This is what we're getting to, by the way. People just don't want to do, and they want to do anything themselves anymore. They want everything to be just hand-fed to them. Information, food, toilet, everything. There's only a few people out there who are still ambitious and opportunistic, and Reggie's one of them. Capitalizing on the growing trend of the market and society, knowing that people are going to love to be able to do nothing with their lives. So good on you, Reggie. Maybe as sales go up, the discount here will go up too. 2.9% or whatever it was. 2% was not very generous of Reggie, but you know, he's a fledgling business. What is that word? Is it fledgling when you're new? When you're new on the market? That's what he is. He's new on the market. Fledgling. I don't know. All right, the cage fact. Very quick fact. It's just more of like just some historical knowledge for you, in case you didn't know this. Nick Cage has a star on the Walk of Fame, which shouldn't surprise you because of some of the morons they have and the useless idiots they have on the Walk of Fame that really didn't do anything to contribute to society whatsoever, at least in the Hollywood world. But he got that in 1998. Now, after that, not related, but in the timeline of Nick Cage events, he also got an honorary degree from Cal State Fullerton in 2005, I believe, between 01 and 05, something like that. Anyway, he gave the speech, the commencement speech as well. So he was receiving a degree and also the commencement speaker at the college that he never went to. That's just to let you know, that's how good he is. Now, I know they do it with other people who probably don't deserve it. Bill Cosby, as one example, not going to a school, getting degrees, being able to give the speeches, whatever. But we all know from the endless Cage facts and his curriculum vitae, if you will, of quality motion pictures, the guy really shouldn't have to go to college to get the degree. He really doesn't need to. He earned it. And based on what it takes to earn a degree these days, they should have given him a doctorate, honestly, because all you got to do to earn a degree these days is have the money. Literally, that's it. That's not me being jaded. Thanks a lot, Embry Riddle. But you pay to play, so you get a degree. Nick Cage did it the other way. He actually earned it by contributing to society by giving us the, I don't know the words to describe how I feel about his movies and what they've done to the world. I think you understand how I'm feeling, though. He deserves it. That's the Cage fact. Done. Only good thing about this episode, by the way, the only positive thing about this episode, and then maybe the big three, but I'm heated. And I don't know why, because this stuff doesn't directly affect me, but I think because it can potentially affect me down the road, because this is where we're going as a country. It's just tough to be a part of. You know, when you try out for a team, or you put in for a job, or you get selected in school for the Math Honor Society or some shit like that, and initially you feel like, oh, I'm in an elite level here. I made the Math Honor Society. That's really the top 5% of the school is an honor society member for the mathletes. And then there's that guy in the club that's just garbage at math. He's a mouth-breathing, slack-jawed idiot, and you have no idea why he or how he got into this supposedly elite organization. And you get that feeling of man, this really waters down the prestige and the reputation of this club and what it means to actually earn it. Because if idiots like this can get in, then what are we doing here? And I felt that way a lot of times about a lot of things. And it's starting to feel that way about the society and culture in this country. Now, I'm definitely proud to be here. I hope that made that clear by my time in the service and the flag and all the other stuff I do. I'm definitely proud to be American, 100%. If there was a percentage above 100 that was actually realistic in math terms, that's what I would be, as far as my pride and happiness to be a citizen and a natural born citizen, a member of this country. What worries me and what kind of pisses me off is that as we continue down this path of stupidity over the past several years, especially the past year and a half, start getting that feeling of all these other idiots are also considered citizens. They're also part of this country. And it waters down the prestige and pride that you feel being part of America. Maybe that's just me. But especially lately, that's how I've started to feel a little bit. Is damn, we are in such a great country. We have work to do. And I could talk for hours about the work we have to do. In fact, I'm going to bitch about it a little bit today. But as far as the other options out there, we're doing all right. I wouldn't want it any other way. We have work to do. Everybody should understand that. And you should have work to do. There's no such thing. You shouldn't just want to be oh, good, we're a good country, we're good enough, I'm done improving and trying to get better. So I get that. But I feel like in the name of quote unquote trying to get better, we're actually getting worse. And it's just so apparent in the media today, or what's going on social media today. And I want to bitch about it, but I also want to remind people of the importance of not paying attention to that crap. because you're going to see why. So if you pay attention at all to social media and the media, and I'm not saying like if you're a believer in it or whatever, but if it just crosses your path in life each day, in your daily lives, which I'm sure it has to. We're in the 21st century. We have high-tech computers at our fingertips with our iPhones and whatever else, or whatever smartphone we have. So you're going to be on social media for the most part. You're going to see somebody's going to be watching CNN or MSNBC or Fox News on the TV at work or somewhere that you're passing by. So you see it. You see what's going on out there. This is what makes me so mad, is that the stuff that you're seeing every day that's getting kind of pushed into your brain is gutter trash. Okay? Between the quote-unquote news agencies, news networks on TV that are pushing vaccination requirements, mask mandates for vaccinated people because the new Delta variant is more contagious than everything, more contagious than chickenpox and SARS and this and that, which it's probably true. I don't know. I did see a story earlier today in passing at work. Someone was watching, I don't know what channel it was. It doesn't matter. But they were talking about, quote unquote, leaked CDC information about the COVID being more contagious than a whole bunch of other viruses, which, again, I'm not disputing that information. I actually haven't even looked it up to verify one way or another. It shouldn't matter. We should be trying to be healthy to begin with, regardless. Yes, it said more contagious than chickenpox. Chickenpox, okay, chickenpox is not that deadly. Yes, you can die from it, but who cares that it's more like they're trying to play that up as like, oh, it's so contagious, and then also implying that you will die from this if you get it. So we have to mandate this stuff now for your safety because you can't figure it out yourselves. And that's what's angering, is not only that propaganda that they're pushing out. One side is pushing this out. The other side is pushing out, don't listen to it. It's a conspiracy. It's fake. Don't worry about it. Get out there and spit on each other and everything's going to be fine. They're playing against each other on purpose. Okay. And what's disheartening, it's not just that. That angers me. That pisses me off that these quote unquote news agencies are pushing out propaganda. What's disheartening is that it's working. Why is it working, guys? Why do you see it in real life? You turn the TV off, you go into society, you're at a Wegmans, you're at whatever, a park, and you see the people going back and forth arguing. You should be wearing 18 masks. No, you should spit each other's faces and laugh at them for the 5G virus. It's a hoax. Or vax or anti-vax. That's what's disheartening. That's what's getting me so pissed off this week, is that the bullshit, the obvious propaganda that's being pushed to you in media and social media is working. And it's working on smart people too. It's not just the idiots of the world. It's a lot of people. A lot of smart people in our lives are doing it one way or the other. It's creating a divide. And I just want to educate people a little bit on the situation going on with 24-hour news networks, in case people didn't realize this or didn't know this beforehand. First of all, think about this for a second. Before you start blindly believing everything you see on Fox News or CNN or MSN or any of these other networks that claim to be 24/7 breaking news networks, okay? Understand first what news is. It's incidents and situations that you report on in life. It's supposed to be, here is what happened, here is a situation, here is the incident that occurred, here is why it occurred. Be aware of it. If it's in your area, you should be aware of it. Okay, that's number one. That's generally speaking what news is. It's information to provide to you. Okay? sometimes in life, there is not breaking news. Okay, I know that's mind-blowing now to some people who are just so deep into the weeds of their team's news network that they think, oh, there's always news. There's always something to talk about. That's what these networks were created to convince you of. That there's always something. You always have to tune in, okay? Another big thing about these networks is that they are for-profit media networks, okay? There's no such thing as a non-profit news network anymore. It's not a thing anymore. Not there. They're for-profit, okay? How do these people profit? How do these networks profit? By getting viewerships and ratings. The more people watch, the more sponsorship ads get put out there on the televisions, and the more money they rake in off of that viewership. Okay? So the incentive is to make sure that there are stories out there worth watching. There's information out there newsworthy. Okay? That's the whole premise behind it. It's for profit, and they need viewership, they need ratings. So you have to understand that eventually, after years and years of being these quote-unquote 24/7 news networks, the real news is going to run out, and they have to start manufacturing it and cultivating it internally and creating something out of nothing. Because at the end of the day, it's about the profit. Not about putting out the correct information for people to educate them. It's about making money. And I know that sounds crazy, all Libretti. You're a conspiracy theorist. You think these people are evil. No, I don't think that they're evil. I think they're running a business. And that business relies on viewership and ratings to bring in the money. Just like any other business, whatever they're selling, they have to make sure they sell it the best to make the most money. That's what a business is. Okay? And there are not any major television networks that are in the business of providing education to people on actual situations and not worrying about the money. They're just non-existent. Okay? So you have to understand that going into watching these things and paying attention to this stuff, that the information you're seeing and hearing and listening to is already coming from a slanted angle. Whatever the angle is, it's to grip you. It's to captivate you enough that you keep tuning in as often as possible. Because the more people tune in and the more often they're on there, the more money that network makes. Okay? So they are willing and have done so, and has been proven time and time again, to stretch the truth, to push propaganda, to sell you snake oil, to get your asses in the seats and watching them and clicking on their articles or doing whatever it is they need to do to get your ass watching their shit so that they can make money. And that's not a conspiracy, that's business. And the problem is they have convinced too many people around here these days that what they're pushing out is the truth, and that you need to make sure that you're pushing that truth out to others and fighting the good fight against those doubters. And it's creating a divide. And what did we say about dividing houses before? We talked about it previously. Division inside the country, within the ranks, prevents us from having any sort of upper hand or any say in how our country is being run by the government. So the government loves this shit. Why do you think they do it all the time? Why do you think the House and Senate vote against party lines, even if they know that the vote is for garbage, if the bill is trash, or they purposely hold back on voting on a good bill or a good way forward, or don't bring things to the table because they know we don't want the other team to get this win, so we're going to hold off on it. Nancy Pelosi, that 90-year-old geriatric, I don't know how she's still walking. She's 100% in diapers. There's no doubt in my mind she's walking around in diapers. She's 81 years old. She's third in line for presidency. She's 81 years old. 100 millionaire, by the way. Okay, figure that one out. Our politician is now 100 millionaire. Okay? Third in line. She was bragging about holding off on voting on the $2,000 stimulus package, waiting for prior President Emperor Trump to get ousted or impeached or whatever it was. She was bragging about it publicly, toying with the American people for political gain and influence. Okay, think about that. That all goes back into what the media is doing too. Okay, they love that. They feed the media because it benefits everybody. The media gets money for the chaos and division and propaganda, and the politicians stay in power and have the control, because it's a lot easier to control a bunch of fooled, divisive citizens than it is against a smart, independently thinking, coming together team to hold them accountable. Okay? So all this plays into each other. And it doesn't matter what side you believe in. I don't care about your political beliefs or how you feel about or getting vaccinated in any capacity or what. It's about this idea that they think we are so stupid that we're just going to believe everything they say and create this division and chaos amongst the citizens in this society for their own benefit. It's despicable, and what's worse is that it's working. Because you see it constantly out in the real world. You see the arguments, and you see the people. You could tell, people who are taking sides. I wear 4 masks outside. You still see the people wearing masks inside their own car with gloves on and hazmat suits. And now you got further, because of it, businesses and companies and the federal government are reacting because of it. They're making decisions based on the garbage, the political propaganda, the media chaos. You see the vaccination guilt going on, creating more. Oh, you better feel bad. You're killing someone's grandma by not getting vaccinated. Which I think is such a bullshit tactic, to prey on someone's emotions and feelings and make them feel bad for making their own choices in life as an American, a free living American, is disgusting. And people need to think about that before they start running their dick suckers out towards their friends and family or whoever, or on social media where they're trying to guilt trip people about making their decisions in life. Because that's a below the belt tactic. That's Bush League. As if I ever saw a Bush League tactic, you're preying on someone's emotions, making them feel bad, like the blood is on their hands for making a life choice whether they want to get vaccinated or not. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. My friends and family who are choosing not to get vaccinated, we're not the ones shoving sick senior citizens in old age homes and dumping them in there and then dumping the bodies in tractor trailer beds or whatever afterwards. That wasn't my friends or family. I'm sure it wasn't yours either. So the guilt is just a bullshit tactic, and the fact that it's working is mind-boggling to me. How people can't step back from the emotional side of things. They make it political, they make it emotional, and now it's infighting. Oh, you're not vaxxed, you're a piece of shit. You're killing my grandfather. Oh, you are vaxxed, you're a sheep. Fuck you, sheep. Well, it's absolutely asinine, and it's so frustrating to see, especially this week. I don't know why. I think because we're seeing the effects are now actually hitting us more directly again. with mass mandates for vaccinated people. What does that even mean? What is the point of the vaccination if you're going to make up these more ridiculous rules that don't even make sense? That doesn't work. And then try to mandate it. Wild. At some point, we have to understand that we are adults in a free society, supposedly. We can make our own decisions. If Fat Joey wants to eat like shit, gain 600 pounds, and sit in his Reginald's recliner for the rest of his life, unvaxxed, eating like garbage, no actual exercise, that's his choice. He's not doing anything illegal. That's his choice. He wants to deal with that. That's fine. It's his journey. So long, Joey. Have fun with that. I'm not going to do that. It doesn't affect me. And I know people like to do is they like to use the guilt trip again. They like to be like, oh, well, Fat Joey is going to ramp up a lot of medical conditions that are going to jack up insurance rates because he's going to the facilities constantly for his sickness, and he's the one wasting all our good medications on people who actually need it. He needs it. I got news for you. Everybody who needs medical help and wellness for whatever reason, they need it. Whether it was because they smoked for 30 years or because they're fat shit and didn't eat well and exercise or because they just got cancer randomly. Whatever the reason, we all need it. Everybody needs the medical help at some point. So don't use that tactic. But bringing it back to what matters is that we should make sure we should have the choice. And the fact that the media and the government leadership, the crooks in leadership, are pushing this purposeful divide that you will choose safety, that what we tell you safety and security is, or you're choosing to kill people is asinine. And the fact that it's working is embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. And if you think we can just escape, oh, I'll just turn the TV off and I'll just pop onto Instagrams and Twitters to go look at hot babes or whatever's going on in those worlds, right? You would be wrong. Because if you go on there this week, what was the big story? Everybody saw it this past week where people was the divide against the decision by the Olympic gymnast Simone Biles to withdraw from her events in the Olympics because of mental health concerns. She self-identified as she wasn't handling, like she wasn't going through some good times. She was dealing with some shit internally, mentally, and for her own mental health and wellness, she withdrew. And what did that do? What happened? Social media erupted, already immediately creating the divide. You're either with her or you're against her. Or you have the people that are calling her a piece of shit. What a weakling. Oh, because she was sad and didn't want to be there, so she quit. What a quitter. I would never do that. And this is coming, by the way, from people with zero athletic ability. Worse than Rudy. Zero athletic ability. No concept of competing or getting through actual hardships in life and dealing with adversity, mentally or physically. These are the text message tough guys that we talk about, the keyboard cowboys, shit talking this elite athlete who is actually proven to get through adversity physically and medically, if you will, competing with broken bones and fractures and torn ligaments and still winning medals. But when it comes to mental health, now she's a weak piece of shit. And then we're just creating this divide and this argument on social media to just keep fueling the fire. Hey, anything we can divide the people on, that's what we're going to do. It was almost like bots just started funneling this stuff out on meme pages and social media or fake accounts. It was unbelievable how quickly it came out. It was almost like it was manufactured again. Now, I'm not putting on the tinfoil hat for that today, but we were flooded. You could not scroll through. I couldn't scroll through my Instagrams at all this week without every couple of photos and posts of people I follow or things I follow, pages, is a shit talk or some information, some meme or post about this incident, this situation. Which, again, goes back to, like, what is so frustrating with this whole thing is that people are buying right into it. What we should be coming together against is the hypocrisy of the Olympic Games. Now, this is coming from a guy who watched the Olympics all through my childhood, and I wanted to be an Olympic athlete. And I'm not bitter because I'm not in the Olympics. I suck at sports. It took me how many times to make each baseball team I ever tried out for, to sit the bench. I barely made it in soccer in high school. I'm not a good athlete. I understand that. I don't deserve to be on the elite level. It's not a chip on my shoulder whatsoever. But the fact that we're just like dogging on this athlete and not really coming together on the real issue is the hypocrisy and money-making scam that is the Olympics. That's what we should be talking about. I mean, this organization is full of corruption and bullshit and hypocrisy. One of the reasons why Simone Biles even withdrew is for her mental health issues. One of those mental health issues she was taking prescription medication for, and the Olympics would not let her take this medication. This was on the quote-unquote banned substances list. And in Tokyo, there's no waivers. You could not get a waiver. I forgot what she got it for the last Olympics, but this Olympics, she was not allowed to get a waiver to allow her to continue taking that medication, and that helped contribute to her mental health issues that she was dealing with, that she withdrew from. That's wild. What kind of organization that puts out this message of, oh, yeah, we are here for the athletes, and it's all about them to display their talents and abilities and competitiveness. Oh, but if you have an issue, we're just going to find a way to fuck you over. There is no wiggle room at all with this. Nope, sorry, no waiver. Sorry, Olympic gold medalists. You might be shit hot, but we need, we're worried about more important things like ratings and money. So we'll throw this out there and you can go kick rocks. I mean, the whole thing is a scam. And you can start digging into it. You can put the tinfoil hat if you want to, but it's reality. It's not a conspiracy. You can go look into it. How they don't pay. The athletes don't get paid for this unless they have sponsorships. So they're out there. Some of them are professional athletes in their sport, but let's be honest. How many Olympic sports are the professional athletes actually making big time money? Besides like the hockey, in the Winter Olympics, basketball, baseball. Is baseball even in the Olympics anymore? They took it out for a while. I don't even know if it's in there anymore. But gymnasts don't make a lot of money. Swimmers don't. You don't see gymnasts, swimmers, curlers, water polo folks, track stars. You don't see any of these folks and these athletes at all until the Olympics. Every 4 years, you see these poor bastards. Meanwhile, every other year before that, they're breaking records. They're working their dicks off, crushing it athletically. And if they don't have sponsorships, they're making trash money. And the Olympics committee is not doing them any favors at all. They're exploiting them for their skill set so that they can get ratings and money. All comes back to the money. I know I'm the crazy one, right? Then they fuck over the country usually that they're in, because what do they try to do? They always try to put it in these like third world countries. Oh yeah, we'll beef up the country because we'll give them all these jobs and businesses and infrastructure that we'll build in here for the Olympics, and it'll bolster the country up. We'll get them out of poverty. And what ends up happening? Except in like big time countries like America or countries that can actually sustain themselves. I mean, we don't need to build a whole lot of new infrastructure to have an Olympics here in the United States. We already got stadiums and arenas and everything, and hotels and lodging. Already pretty much anywhere you go in America, there's a city with that stuff there. But go to other places, Brazil, any South American country, anywhere else that they go, they spend years building this infrastructure, so that gives the couple years of temporary jobs. They go, they have the Olympics, they trash the place. The pollution and the litter skyrockets for that however many weeks of the event. And then what happens? The Olympic Committee rolls back up the red carpet, wipes their gloves, and they're gone. And guess what goes with them? The jobs, the opportunities, the money, the economic like stimulus, if you will, it's all gone. Nobody needs to work at a hotel that nobody stays at. The Olympic like dorms and stuff, they're deserted. The arenas, nobody's playing hockey in Brazil right now or wherever they had it. Okay? These places become ghost towns, poverty-stricken ghost towns. And the Olympic Committee could give a shit less. And they play the same bullshit every year or every 4 years or whatever it is we're going to do it here to bolster this country up. And everyone rallies behind it. Oh, yeah, we're gonna do it for this country. And then they just shit on them, put up all these useless buildings that are going to be good for 2 weeks. See ya. We're done. How many times you can go Google deserted Olympic arenas or venues, and they're all over the world. You know, the committee doesn't care. They're on to the next one. Where's the next country we can make money out of? They don't care about the athletes. They don't care about the countries they go into. All they care about is the money and the ratings and the money. Meanwhile, the media and social media are making us divided against how we should feel about a super athlete trying to take care of her mental health. And that's what really, really got me going, was that so many people are dismissing mental health as a valid, important thing to be mindful of. And we talk about it here constantly on the Big Three, and that's what got me so angry, was that it's important to us here in the Junction. But apparently it's not important to the people out there who need the ratings and the division and the chaos and the Olympic Committee. Now, if you break an ankle, you're a warrior and a hero just for being there, even though you can't compete anymore. If you have depression or suicidal ideations or anything in your brain, you're weak. You're a weak individual. I saw somebody, I posted, I think it was Charlie Kirk. Now, Charlie Kirk is a predominantly very conservative individual. He's usually very mature and he's decently professional when it comes to pushing out his beliefs on social media. Now, I don't agree with everything the guy does or says, but how he goes about himself is usually pretty professional. And it's professional enough that I keep tuning in to see what he has to say, whether I agree or not, because that's what you do. Okay, by the way, that's what you should be doing, getting everybody's side of the story. Okay, and at the very least, when I don't agree with him, he pushes out facts-based opinions. He gives his opinion and he tells you why he feels this way based on these actual facts. And not just like shaming you or calling you names and shit like that. But he posted this thing. Mind you, again, Charlie Kirk is a skinny, completely unathletic human being. I'm pretty sure he's never played a competitive sport in his life. He might have played Little League or T-ball or like rec league, bumblebee soccer, where everyone just follows the ball around. He might have done that. I don't know his life. but now there's no shot he has any business chiming in on anybody with athletic ability. And he's posting about what a coward and a weakling Simone Biles is for withdrawing, self-identifying that she had issues she had to deal with mentally for her mental health. I keep saying that word, mental health, okay? Because that's important. It is an important situation to deal with and to make sure you're mindful of and you're taking care of. And he's trashing her on social media, and he posts in comparison, he compares her to that other gymnast from back in the 90s. I think, what was her name? Kerri Strug. Because she's a warrior. Why is she a warrior, Charlie? He said this, or he put it in his video. He didn't really say anything. He just posted 2 videos. He posted the split screen of Kerri Strug doing her vault, how you doing, and then landing and breaking her ankle. And then she was getting carted off after she won the gold medal. She was getting carted off because she broke her ankle. She couldn't walk. Then he had a split video of Simone Biles at a press conference saying, hey, I had to withdraw because I'm dealing with some mental health issues that I need to take care of, and it's affecting my ability to perform up to my elite level that I already am, that I've already proven to you, you heathens. And he's dogging on her for that. First of all, Kerri Strug had a physical injury. She didn't withdraw. She broke her ankle on the landing. Yes, it was hurt beforehand, and she's tough for powering through it. Got it. But that doesn't even compare. That doesn't compare at all to what this other person is going through. It's a different situation altogether. And these people are dogging on this woman for wanting to take control of her mental health. And this doubly pissed me off, not only because people were just feeding this divisive fire by going back and forth and calling her out and calling her a piece of shit, but because it continues to further the bullshit stigma that mental health is a weakness and not something that needs to be taken seriously. They did it last year throughout the whole pandemic too, where they just completely dismissed people's mental health capacity or issues that they were dealing with or that were increased because of these bullshit quarantines that had no rhyme or reason. Each state had their own rules for whatever reasons they had. Meanwhile, mental health issues were continuing to skyrocket and people were deteriorating. Suicides were going up. Everything was getting bad mentally. And that wasn't even discussed. It was dismissed. And then when someone has the balls to go out there in public on the grand stage and admit that they're dealing with some mental health shit and they're trying to get better, and we're just shitting on them. People are just shitting on them and they think it's okay. That is what's so angering about this week, was not the fact that the media is pushing out propaganda again to create a divide, or that social media is dog shit and it's not real life. It's the fact that people are buying into it. We're getting fooled into thinking this is how we're supposed to think and act. And it's bullshit. And I know you guys at the Junction are better. And we need to spread the word on this bullshit and call it out. Stop shitting on people who have mental health issues. You don't know what they're going through. You can't possibly imagine unless you go through it yourselves. And even then, it's still different. Your depression is a different experience from someone else's depression. And how you handle it is going to be different. And it's based on so many other factors that just shut your mouth on it. Whether you, like, if you think the person's being weak or not, shut your mouth on it. Because here's the big thing. And this is something that a friend posted. She posted this on her social media, and it really hit for me, was that she posted this thing about, hey, Simone Biles is not looking at your Facebook page or your Twitter page or your Instagram page that has 100 followers. Simone Biles is not looking at the Libretti Podcast Diary Show page, unfortunately, to see what I post every day. So she's not going to see your shit post about her, how you think she's weak for trying to get mental help and how she's a pussy and not a warrior and not tough at all, and she should be ashamed of herself. She's not going to see that. But you know who will? Your real friends and family who have mental health issues that are too afraid to bring them up to people and don't feel comfortable talking about them because of this bullshit stigma. And all you're doing is making it worse for them to feel comfortable coming out to get the help they need, because now they see like, oh, this is an important person in my life. And they think that's weak. They think mental health issues are a weakness. Well, now I'm not. Why would I get help if then I'll lose my friend? He'll think I'm weak. She'll think I'm garbage or I'm trash because I have an issue. And whether that's true or not, that is what you're putting out there. That is the perception and the message you're putting out there, whether you think so or not, where you're doing it on purpose or not. That is what is going out there. And again, it goes back to stuff that we talked about previously, is second and third order effects of our decisions and what we do and how we act, which goes into the big three. Why we just shouldn't be a shitty person. Because you think it's mindless. You think it's mindless shit talking. Don't worry, Simone's never going to see it. I can make a stupid joke and call her weak and a pussy. It's not going to do anything. But it does. The second and third order effects create that problem. They have that negative impact on the people that are important in your lives. And the fact that we're just blindly letting it happen, we're just letting the media influence us like this, and social media influence us and create these divides. And you see shit that your friends post, and what do you already have this emotional, visceral reaction to whatever they post if they disagree with you, or if you disagree with their post at all, their opinion. The first thing we do is we react negatively. Oh, this guy, why would he post that? What an idiot. Why would she do that? This person's stupid. Now you're judging them based off a post. It might be 3 lines. It might say 4 words. And we're already judging. That's what happened. That's what happens when the media and social media continue to push this chaotic influence on us, this division. And this is why I always go back to talking about the important things, or what I feel to be important, like the big 3. And I always bitch about this stuff when I can, because otherwise, when else are we going to talk about it? Because the media is not talking about this shit. So you're not going to get it on social media. So we got to talk about it here. This is the next venue. This is the next best thing. We have to understand the motives behind the people pushing out the information before we just blindly accept it. This is why I talk about constantly and tell you guys, whatever information you get from any source, TV, social media, magazines, books, newspaper articles, that should not be the only source for you to receive that information. If you read something or you hear something on TV or the radio, you should want to question it and seek out further information on it, to verify it, to prove it wrong, whatever the motive behind it is. If you hear something or see something, you should not just immediately stop and be like, I believe it automatically. That's what it's come to. You see something on anything, on Facebook or whatever TV station you choose to watch, and you just people are blindly believing it without verifying or questioning or digging into the actual details of the situation. And that's what I want. That's why I always go back to. It has nothing to do with whether I agree with your political views or not, or your medical views or not, or any of your opinions. It's as long as your opinions are backed by facts and education, and you took the time to critically analyze everything, we can have the conversation. That's fine. And we can disagree and move along amicably. But the fact that the focus is now us versus them, this divide, this team mentality, and we're buying into it, it has to stop. We have to stop doing it. because we're just continuing down this very dangerous road to the point of no return. And that's why I'm so frustrated and heated this week, is because as you see the crap in the media, you continue to see more people falling for it. Now, I know it's easy for me to just say that. And I remember this saying a friend told me once, that it's easier, and think about this for a second. It's easier to get fooled than to be told you're being fooled, to be convinced that you're being fooled. Now, that's not a direct quote, but that's the saying. And if you think about it, it makes sense. It's a lot easier to be fed bullshit and fooled on something, anything, it doesn't matter what the topic is, than to be told that you are being fooled. Nobody wants to be told that they're being duped or trick fucked or anything like that. Because that what happens. When somebody tells you that, what happens? Your emotions kick in. Your ego kicks in. Everybody, it's a human reaction. Nobody wants to be told they're being fooled. So your first reaction in survival, your survival mechanism, is to push back on that. No, I'm not. Because if you're being fooled, you're vulnerable. And that's our natural human tendency, is to do what we can to not be vulnerable. It's a survival instinct. So when someone tells you, yeah, you're being fooled, this is bullshit, you don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that you're being a sucker. Nobody wants to hear. I hate hearing it. That's why it's so much easier just to be fooled than to be told and understand when you are being fooled. But it's important that we talk about this stuff. And you start stepping back from your emotions and from the team and from the division and the other bullshit. Every time you see information, step back, analyze it, critically analyze it, go dig for more information, get clarifying details, corroborate the sources, vet the intel, figure it out, think for yourselves, and then you can make a decision on how you want to proceed in your life, or how you want, what your opinion is on that particular subject, because now you have all the info. And then you can still make a choice I don't agree with, or other people, your friends and family, don't agree with. But that's okay. That's the great thing about this country still, is that is okay. And the media and the TV and the government doesn't want it to be okay. They want you to think their way or the highway. Each network has their way. That has their own identity, that if you don't think that way, you're done. And we're going to smash you into the ground. And the same with the government. I mean, the government is the most obvious. There's not one government-run organization in this country that's a well-oiled machine. Every government-owned organization or anything that's touched by the government is absolute dog shit. I mean, we contract out a lot of our military jobs. That's how dog shit the government is. We have to hire private contracts to help with our military because the government runs like garbage. And they want you to side with them. They want you to think that they know what's best for you. Even if they're right, you owe it to yourselves and to this country and to the other citizens to question it, to step back and verify whatever they're saying. Because for whatever reason why they're saying it, maybe they're just incorrect and they made a mistake. Or they're pushing propaganda, or they're trying to trick fuck you so that they can get votes and power. Or they're trying to propagandize you so that they create the divide, which equals more power and money for them. Whatever the reason, it doesn't matter. Verify the information. Just don't blindly buy into shit because it's part of what your team says to do. Think for yourselves. Understand the actual issues at hand. And empathize with people. Empathize. Understand that there are other human beings at play here. You're not just shit talking some other Instagram account. There's a human being there. That's what the media and social media, and they all want. They want us to treat each other like savages and things and not human beings. Don't buy into it. And with that, we'll roll right into the big three because we've been kind of talking about it the whole time anyway. Number one, exercise every day. That should be easy. That should be the easiest one. Get up and go for a walk, jumping jacks, hit the gym, run a marathon, whatever you got to do, just do it because that'll help you physically, mentally, emotionally. All the health benefits. And you see how important all those are, especially in the last year and a half. Look at the percentage of physically healthy human beings who ate right and exercised. Look at the percentage of those who died from COVID or had effects so terrible and debilitating. It's a small percentage, very small percentage. The predominance of very adverse effects and death from the virus or any health condition are with unhealthy people. Morbidly obese, anybody who has a prior medical condition from being unhealthy, they are the ones who stood, to feel the worst of the effects of that. Now, I'm not saying they're good for them. They should, they deserve nothing like that. But there's something to be said about exercising for physical, mental, emotional health. There's something to be said about it. That's another thing, by the way. The government has yet to push that out. They have yet to use that as a messaging or a message to push out as a tactic to fight the pandemic or mitigate the effects of it. Be healthy. They haven't once talked about that. Triple mask. Don't touch people. Don't work your job. Stay home. And live off of the government. That's how you'll beat COVID. Not being healthy, eating right, exercising, nothing like that. That's a different episode altogether. But anyway, exercise every day. Number two, what we just talked about, don't be a shitty person. Not because it just doesn't affect the person you're going after. It affects everybody else around you. Whether you think so or not, it does. It has an effect. It's so easy to just remove the human element when it comes to posting on social media or having an opinion on someone you never met before based on no information. Man, the shit talking and the trashing of that Olympic elite gymnast, that elite athlete, who just decided to be a fucking adult and sack up and talk about her mental health issues, and she was just trashed by so many people, was so disgusting and sad and disheartening. It was not just a cry for help, it was a public announcement, explicit announcement for help. And that was the reaction people had. All these Twitter tough guys and social media tough guys just calling her out and calling her a piece of shit and weak and not a true warrior and not tough and a pussy and all this. It was so disgusting. It was so disgusting. I'm embarrassed to even know anybody who had that feeling about someone who wanted to take control of their mental health. Especially knowing so many people in my line of work in my life who have dealt with mental health issues. Do you know the suicide rates of military members because of PTSD and mental health issues? It's staggering. It's staggering. So no matter where you go in the military, you're going to know people who have dealt with mental health issues and suicidal ideations or have actually committed suicide. And that's not even on the top 5 list, like of priorities to focus on and getting better at and fixing in the military. Suicides and mental health and PTSD. It's not even on the top 5. COVID's higher. Masking up is higher on the list of focus items than mental health in the military. It's unbelievable. And there's people out there shit talking every time someone wants to identify that they have a mental health issue. They have a broken bone. Think of it like that. Somebody broke their leg and now they need to get it treated so that they can walk again. That's what it is. It's a medical issue that people need to take seriously and address. If you broke your leg, are you just going to not go to the doctor and get it put back in place because you're scared? So people might think you're weak. Well, you didn't break your leg. Your bone wasn't made of mush. You didn't create this, this situation. Maybe you fell off your bike. Maybe you were in a fight, a boxing match or whatever, or UFC, or you were playing basketball and you broke your ankle, tore your Achilles tendon. Why is that okay? But when somebody has a mental health issue, that's not okay. They're weak now. They just have an issue. They broke a bone. They worked their asses off, waking up early in the morning every day, sacrificing so many other things in their lives to become this elite athlete, this champion. This world champion on a world stage. She's a record-breaking champion. And she just broke something. And because it's not a physical bone, it's a mental thing. People automatically think, oh, well, she's just being weak. She can choose to get through that. And you can't. And you can't. And people clearly don't realize that, and they have no problem being assholes and shitty towards people with mental health issues, and which is one of the biggest reasons why I push this on the big 3. To not be a shitty person, because you don't know what's going on inside someone's head. And sometimes they don't even know what's going on in their head. That's what a mental health issue is. You're trying to figure it out, and you don't know somebody's life. You don't know what they're dealing with every day. You don't know the sacrifices they made. You don't know any sort of anything about them, except what they put out on social media. That's all you know, or what the TV shows you. That's it. And the fact that people can be so okay with just seriously trashing someone, not for like the sake of comedy or for a joke, but just to seriously dog on someone and call them weak and a pussy that you never met before, you know nothing about, you can't even compare even a fucking tit hair of your life with theirs because they're such on a different level than you, and you're just fucking going down and in on them. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Anybody who's ever done that, and seriously as an adult, past the age of like 25, and thinks it's okay still, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. And this is why I push this so hard every week on the big 3. Because you don't understand the effect it has on that person and then those around you and around that person. Because now everybody knows how you feel on mental health. And you think people are pieces of shit and weaklings on it. So now nobody in your close friends or family circle is going to even want to be comfortable going around you talking about it. And they have to deal with it internally now. Now that person's broken leg has to be hidden because they have nobody that they can go to get, to talk about it, to feel comfortable about it with. Because you had to be a text message tough guy. Think about that shit. Don't be a shitty person. It sounds easy. Apparently, it's not that easy to do. Now, to help not be a shitty person, we go to number 3. The most important one, I think, is to be grateful and thankful for all the good you have in your lives. I truly believe that if you focus in on the good that you have in your life and the positive things going on, and are grateful for it, genuinely, legitimately grateful, like deep down in your stupid souls, you will be so much more less inclined to want to lob those shit talks out on social media or text message tough guy in. because your brain is just going to be thinking differently. The culture and environment that you create for yourself is going to be more positive. It's not going to be about who can I shit on, who am I better than, what of my insecurities can I project on someone else. You're not going to think about that. You're going to be so involved and so deeply thinking about all the good in your life and how great you have it and be so grateful for it. You're not going to care. That is the goal. That is the idea behind why I push that as the most important one, because it trickles down to everything else. And they're all intertwined and interconnected. If we haven't talked about that again, because exercising creates that positive feeling in the short term. It gets the endorphin rushing through your body. You're feeling good, the chemical rush. And you start to feel good about yourself mentally and emotionally because you're feeling better physically. And that kickstarts the happiness, the more positive vibes, if you will, as the kids say. On top of that, you couple that with actually being grateful for the good things you have in your lives and not so focused on all the negative shit going on, whether it's in your life or in the world around you, and you're just honing in on the good. That in turn will help mitigate your desire to be an asshole to somebody on social media or even in person, whatever it is. We're not stupid here, folks. I know you think I'm crazy and I'm a lunatic because I'm just this talking nose who's talking out of my ass, and I got my nips hanging out constantly, wearing sleeveless shirts and guinea tees like a moron. And I know you think I'm an idiot, but we're not that stupid here. Okay? There are goals and plans in mind. There are reasons behind the bitching and the venting. Okay? It all connects. There's a lot of complexity on this show, and you should be thankful and grateful that it's around so that you're experiencing it live. And I'm thankful and grateful for it. And I'm thankful and grateful for you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in, for telling your friends about it, for joking about it, for interacting with me on a regular basis about it. Look, I'll say it until I'm blue in the fucking face. I don't care if I have 16 followers or 16 million followers. You guys are the reason I continue to enjoy this every single week. I started this for me to learn something and to do something I had a passion for, and I only want to do it more now because of you guys. Because you interact, your ride or dies. Look, as far as the fiscal or regular success of this show right now, we're a year and a half into it. Not even a year and a half, a little over a year into it. And as far as the numbers go, they're abysmal. But to me, they're the best because it's the ride or dies. You guys are supporting me and tuning in every week, regardless of the success, the seemingly successful or failed nature of the show. You're not just tuning in because, I heard it was successful, like Rogan, super popular, so you better check it out. You're tuning in because you're supportive, you like what you hear, your ride or dies, and I love that. And I'll take that to the grave with me. So thank you for that. Thank you for listening to me bitch day in and day out about the same crap all the time in hopes that we find a way to get better in life, whatever it may be. Thank you again for the 1,000th time. I love you all. Stay strong.